Hi students, welcome to first year commerce class. In our previous class we have discussed about advantages of cooperative societies. Like cooperative societies are easy to form and we have got democratic management, they are service motive, management of cost is very less, low operating cost. They eliminate middlemen and cooperative societies get tax benefit from the government, etc. We have discussed the points. Similarly, a cooperative society will have some disadvantages also. Any business organization, sole proprietorship, joint Hindu family business, cooperative societies, partnership firm in future what we are going to discuss after few days, then joint stock company, multinational companies, etc. Every form of business organization will have some advantages and some disadvantages. Nothing is 100% perfect in this world. Even for example, you take internet, one way it has got benefits and the other it has got disadvantages also. Smartphones, benefit is there, loss is there. Okay, so for every activity or for every system in the society, there will be advantage as well as disadvantage. Clear? So, what are the disadvantages? What do you mean by disadvantages? Unfavorable points. Disadvantages means unfavorable points are the things which cause some loss, which cause some difficulty, are called as disadvantages. Okay. Disadvantages means which cause some inconvenience, uncomfort, or say some unfavorable things are called as disadvantages. So, by establishing a cooperative society form of business or by establishing a cooperative society, what are the disadvantages we are going to face are, first one, inefficient management. Inefficient management means, what is inefficiency? The other day we spoke about efficient management in joint Hindu family. Inefficiency is the opposite of efficiency. Efficiency means you are capable of, means you can do. Inefficient means you do not have that knowledge, you do not have that strength and stamina to perform that activity, then you are called as inefficient. For example, if a teacher is not able to teach the subject perfectly to the students, then he is called as an inefficient teacher because he don't know how to teach, because he don't know the subject. On the other hand, if you are perfect, you know what is what of the subject and you know how to explain to the students in various languages, you can read the mentality of the students. So, you see that the subject is induced into the minds of the students, then you are called as efficient teacher. Efficiency means capacity to do something, whether teaching, writing accounts, or a bank manager or a driver, whatever you are doing. Efficient means where you have the enough stuff, knowledge to do something. Inefficiency means you are not able to do. Okay, management. What you have to do as part of management, almost in every topic we are discussing this. Management means managing the business activities, your business organization. For example, how do you manage a college? The concerned principal has to prepare the timetable, he has to appoint the lecturers, he should know what are the strength of the lecturers. Suppose a team is there, he should know which teacher is perfect in a particular subject. कौन कॉमर्स पढ़ा सकते, कौन इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ा सकते, कौन मैथ्स पढ़ा सकते, ऐसा देख लेना. एंड वी हैव टू अलॉट द टाइम. Admissions are to be done, students are to be counseled, and some proper accommodation is to be arranged, classrooms are to be arranged, some materials required to give education are to be purchased. After doing all these things, you can impart the education. So if you are not able to speak to lecturers, if you are not able to recruit the lecturers, and you are not in a position to pay the money to lecturers, you are not in a position to pay the rent, you are not able to control the students, how do you manage the college? How do you manage the school? Similarly, in a business organization, whether it is cooperative society or a joint Hindu family or sole proprietorship or joint stock company, you have to do so many things. What you have to do? You have to purchase material, goods you have to purchase, whatever it may be, raw material, finished goods. Then you have to appoint laborers, you have to recruit employees, you have to write accounts, you have to deal with government authorities, you have to deal with banks, you have to speak to customers. You have to do all these things, then only your activity is done, your business organization will run. So if you are managing a hospital, what you require? You have to appoint the doctors, you should have proper beds, proper medicines. When the patient come for the treatment, you have to provide them a better treatment. Then only you will be successful doctor or successful hospital. If you are not able to provide that medical services, your hospital will be flop, no one will come to you. Got it? So everywhere, as part of every management, even management starts at home also. Suppose your parents are there, they should know what is the money they are earning every month, what are their expenses, how many groceries they have to purchase every month, how much of rice is to be purchased, what is the oil to be purchased, how many members are there, how to manage the expenses, how much they can save, all these things they have to think of. So when you do all these activities, it is called as management. Management is not a particular subject where it can be done only by business people. Even at home also, we are involved as part of management. Even a student has to manage the time. At what time you have to wake up, then complete our studies, do our routine work. In what way we can think of our career. So you have to manage the time over there. Someone has to manage the resources, someone has to manage the cash, a principal has to manage the college, a bank manager has to manage the bank. So like that, every person at different levels will have the management capacity. But unfortunately, in case of a cooperative society, this management is inefficient. Inefficient means not that much capable. Why? Can you tell me? Because here the management, the members, the people who are managing, the chairman and the directors are not educated. They are not given the post according to their experience and qualification. They are the elected members. In a democratic manner, we are electing them. So sometimes, as we see in India, even Anguta Chap will become the MLA or MP because he don't know how to sign, but he will become MP by virtue of money, by virtue of caste or religion, whatever it may be. They don't know what. But when elections are conducted, sometimes an uneducated person will become the leader. So they don't know what is what. They are illiterates. They are not educated. So such people will, when they become the leaders, naturally they ruin the society. Similarly, in a cooperative society, when the chairman and the directors are elected, you know, whenever the elections are taking place, definitely there are groups, people will pay money for the votes or whatever it may be, they give some attractions, they get the votes and they will become the chairman. But in reality, we don't know to what extent they are capable of managing the cooperative society. This chairman and the directors may not have the knowledge of managing the society, just they have become the chairman and directors only because of the votes. They may not have proper qualification. I am not talking about all the cases, but in some cases, they may not have the proper qualification and experience to manage the cooperative society, and naturally that may be incurring losses. Then, limited financial resources. Financial resources means capital. In previous class also I told you this. Financial resources means capital. Why do we have limited capital in cooperative society? Because the members who join a cooperative society are in general poor people, lower middle class people. See, normally you see in society, who want to take a commodity at a cheaper rate? Rich man or the poor man? Rich men will go for only costly goods. They want to buy the costliest goods in the market. They can afford. They feel prestigious to buy the inferior goods. सस्ते वाला goods नहीं खरीदना चाहते rich people. So they are not bothered about the prices. So remember that rich people never become the members of cooperative society. Only middle class people, lower middle class, that too, or say economically backward people, poor people will become the members of cooperative society only to get the benefit of the prices. Because this marker, say example, this marker in the open market it is available for 60 rupees, but in a cooperative society it is available for 45 rupees. So I will become the member of cooperative society only because I do not have much money to buy the product at the open market. I want to gain because I am very poor. So I want to take it this at 45 rupees. So only poor people or say economically backward people, lower middle class people will become the members of cooperative society. So their aim will be how to get benefit from the society. But they never think, they are not in a position to give, how I can give the benefit to the society, they never think. They are not in that position. The person who has got that capacity of giving money, giving some benefit, will never become the member of the cooperative society. He thinks that I have got enough money, I need not be the member of the society, I have got sufficient purchasing power, so I will go to the open market and will buy. But only the poor people will think about this. So when poor people are your members, naturally they cannot contribute much capital. Then lack of unity among the members. Unity means united. Okay, when all people think in one manner that we have to do this, then that is called as a united decision, unanimous decision. But here these members have come from different backgrounds. Like a joint Hindu family, they are not of the same family. In joint Hindu family, we have seen that all the members, co-partners, do belong to the same family, one family. So they have got the blood relation. There is a bondage between them. So naturally, they will have that love and affection towards each other. So any shortfall, some shortcoming is there among the members, they will adjust. That may not lead to disputes. But here the problem is, these members have come from different backgrounds, maybe from different cities, maybe from different localities, maybe from different groups. So naturally, the ideology, the thinking of one member may not match the thinking of another member. If one says yes, the others may say no. That is called as lack of unity. Means they cannot come to a conclusion to do something immediately. Always they quarrel among themselves. Okay, झगड़े करते रहते, fighting करते रहते, क्योंकि their opinion does not match. So that is what called as lack of unity among the members. Then lack of incentive to work hard. Yesterday also given lot of discussion, lot of introduction on this incentive or reward. Incentive means the benefit what you get, the reward what you get. Incentive means, say for example, I am teaching commerce in this Sri Medhavi college for the past 6 years. If my students are getting very good result, so many students are getting 99 marks in commerce. Now the college management has recognized my services. They came to know that Madhusudan sir is a efficient teacher in the commerce subject. Because of his teaching only, so many students are getting very good marks. After identifying my services and my capacity, if they increase my salary, if they give me some promotion, if they give me some financial benefit, that is called as incentive. Okay, incentive means some extra benefit given to our employee or our member. Okay, for example, you are the student of this college and in first year commerce you have topped. Means not only first year commerce, but in all the subjects you are the college topper. Then what the college will do? In the farewell party, they will announce you some cash prize. May give you 1016 rupees or 2016 rupees as cash prize because you are the college topper, and your photo will be displayed on a flexi in front of our college and maybe telecast in YouTube channels or in various advertisement agencies that you are the topper of Sri Medhavi Girls Campus, Santosh Nagar, you are shown. So that is the incentive you are getting. You are recognized for your hard working and your merit. So whenever such incentives are there, then only we will try to work hard. Okay, normally we will be doing our activity, we will be completing our duty, we will be fulfilling our responsibility. But apart from that, if your services are recognized and you are given some incentive, that gives you, that motivates you to work further, work hard and hard and hard. Okay. So, but unfortunately, in a cooperative society, such type of incentives are not there. Remember, in any business organization, the incentive is the profit. The incentive is the share in profit. So, all the members will be motivated. If they are given some share in profit, they will be encouraged to work hard. They will give out various new ideas. They think in an innovative manner. But unfortunately, just in the previous class, we have seen that cooperative societies are not profit oriented. They are service oriented. They don't earn money from the members because they don't charge high price to their products. So profit aata hi nahi wo logon ko. Even they get less, very less profit because they are charging low price for the product. So they get only limited amount of profit. That is enough, that is sufficient only to manage the society. Because even when you manage a cooperative society, you have to pay rent, you have to pay salaries to your employees. Clear? So various operating costs will be there. So whatever the extra money you are getting, that may be sufficient enough to manage your expenses. But aapke paas zyada paise bachte nahi. When you do not have the profits to share, you cannot give anything to your members. So what the members will think? What is the use? We are contributing the capital, we have become the members of the society, but what we are getting? We are not getting any profit. So that's how it discourages you. Okay, if you are given some share in the profit, then naturally you will get motivated to work hard. So that is not there. That incentive is not there. That means the share in profit is not there. So members are demotivated. Next, rigid state control. Rigid state control. What do you mean by rigid, ma? What do you mean by rigid? Rigid means very hard. Rigid means very hard. Okay. See, this is very rigid. I cannot break this marker. Very hard. Okay. If a rubber band is there, I can stretch it. So it is flexible. I am seeing for a rubber band if it is not there. So a rubber band is a flexible, I can stretch it. So rigid means which is very tight. See, this is very tight, rigid. I am not able to bend. This textbook is flexible, I can mold. Okay. It is flexible, I am able to mold, but which I am not able to mold is called as rigid. So here you have to think that when something is very hard, it is called as rigid. State control, again I am telling, state means government. So state control, rigid state control means with respect to cooperative societies, government involvement is too much. Okay, like every time they will be asking for your accounts books, they will be inspecting, they will be asking you to submit the reports periodically. What are your sales? How many members are there? How much money you have collected from your members? What are the activities taken place for the past 3 months? Like that, every time the government officials will be interfering in your activities. It is as simple as, you see, I am a teacher, I am a lecturer, I am taking the class. Imagine, for every 15 minutes or 20 minutes, the principal sir comes and sit in the bench in the classroom and listen to me, will be asking various doubts. Sir, how you are teaching, and interfering with the students, how Madhusudan sir is teaching, are you able to understand? If this is done every hourly, does it look good? Just try to imagine. Okay, fortnightly or monthly once, in my absence, if he is speaking to students that how the commerce lesson is going on, are you able to understand the lecture? Is his language good? Like that, if he questions and gets the feedback from students, it's okay. But frequently, weekly once or weekly twice, he is coming directly to the classroom and sitting on a bench along with the students and listening the class and raising doubts in the middle of the class. It looks very silly. It will be embarrassing. I hope you got my point. Similarly, in a cooperative society, when you are doing your business activities, when government officials frequently do visit your premises, ask for your accounting books, okay, posing various questions, it is all embarrassing. So it disturbs our work. So that is one more disadvantage we have got. That is called rigid state control. Then lack of secrecy. So many times I told you that in case of small business concerns, non-corporate business units like sole trading concern, joint in the family, cooperative societies, partnership, for these firms, secrets are vital, very, very important. You are not supposed to reveal, disclose your details to others. That automatically gives rise to competition. You cannot afford competition, you cannot fight with competitors. So जितना competition कम है market में आपको उतना फायदा होता. But unfortunately, in case of cooperative society, secrets are not possible because for every issue you have to conduct the meetings, you have to take the opinion of the members. So here the members may be the members of other society also. They are not the members of only your society. They may be the members of other society also. Naturally, the members may disclose what is happening in our society to others. So automatically that leads to revealing of our business activities. Automatically that leads to competition. That leads to losses. So for small concerns, competition is not advisable. Competition नहीं रहना बोले तो आपके secrets बाहर नहीं जाना. But here secrets छुपा के रखना possible नहीं है. Because members are from different groups, you have to discuss in meetings, you have to take their opinion, voting is to be conducted to pass a resolution, then something written, members have to sign. So when this happens, these members will go outside and they speak about our cooperative society, what we are going to do. We are going to purchase land, or we are going to construct building, we are going to buy the material. All these activities they will discuss outside. So that is very problematic. Next, absence of loyalty. What do you mean by loyalty? Vishwas. That means the affection, the confidence you show towards some organization is called as loyalty. For example, a student has studied in Sri Medaviki Junior College, 2 years completed. After passing of intermediate, if that student recommends to her cousins, her relatives, neighbors, that Sri Medaviki College is good, there we get quality education, go and join in Sri Medaviki Junior College, that is called loyalty. But after studying here, if they blame, that is called disloyalty. Okay. So here, members may not be loyal to the society. Even though they take goods and services from us at cheaper rate, they are members of our society, but there is no guarantee that always they promote us, they benefit us. Members may just think in the other manner. They may not talk positively about ourselves in the open market. So that is what called as absence of loyalty. Then political interference. You know what is politics? Like different parties come together and participate in the elections, always criticize the others. They don't see the work carried out in a smooth manner. Political parties, whenever they enter, whenever there are elections, automatically political parties do enter. One will be from X party, one will be from Y party, one will be from Z party. Always they try to say that we are superior than the others, we do like this, we do like that. So that criticism goes on, and they will not allow the society to carry out its activities in a smooth manner. Whenever the political parties interfere, automatically what happens? These members will get divided into various parties. One is X party, one is Y party, one is Z party. So they will thinking in a political manner. Whether our party is great or your party is greater, like that they will be thinking. But they will not be thinking about the development of cooperative society. So that is the problem when political parties interfere into your activities. So naturally, in any cooperative society, political parties do interfere. That is a disadvantage. Clear? So with this, we complete disadvantages of cooperative societies. In our next class, we discuss about different types of cooperative societies.